All right, guys. So this story right here was a very interesting one. As you all know, Donald Trump is having his VP race where he's, figuring out behind the scenes who he wants to be his running mate. And we went through the list of all the finalists. Some of the people on that list were fucking just a total nightmare. People like Tom Cotton, the world's biggest neocon, warmonger, torturer, pencil neck, giraffe neck bitch. He's the worst of the worst. He was on the list. I don't think it's going to be him. Marco Rubio was on the list. I don't think it's going to be him. If I'm being honest with you, I think like Marco Rubio was added solely to make it look like, oh yeah, look, we have a diverse choice of people on the list. Look at this. Oh, Marco Rubio, a Hispanic. Look. Oh, I think that's why they put him there. I think that's why they put Ben Carson on the list. Same thing. I don't think he's actually being considered. It's more like, look, we have black people on the list. But anyway, originally I was convinced that Trump was going to go with Kristi Noem. That is until the whole dog episode where she talked about murdering a dog, and then everybody and their mother started hating her, and I think Trump used that as, okay, I can't go with her. She's a mess. She's a joke. Now everybody hates her. I think she was the one, but now she's not. So then I thought, okay, it's got to be Elise Stefanik then, because I know he wants a woman. She's a New Yorker. He likes her. She's loyal. But now, at the last minute, man, there's one other person who's making a charge here, who's trying to lock that spot down. And that person is Tim Scott. So look at this article from Bloomberg. Tim Scott leverages billionaires to boost vice presidential bid. Here we go. Few politicians know how to win over a billionaire like Tim Scott does. An event Wednesday in Washington will test whether he can leverage that clout to become Donald Trump's running mate. The policy summit cum fundraiser, by the way, that looks ridiculous. It looks like it's a summit where people are coming on each other, right? Look at that. Summit cum fundraiser. Oh, disgusting. On the Juneteenth holiday will include some of the world's wealthiest people. Citadel's Ken Griffin, Apollo's Mark Rowan, Pershing Square's Bill Ackman, and venture capitalist Mark Andreessen are all featured speakers on topics ranging from tax policy to crypto. Sponsored by Scott's political advocacy group, Great Opportunity Policy, Inc., and seeking donations of up to $250,000, the gathering shows the powerful network the former presidential candidate has built and the money he can potentially attract. Since joining the Senate a decade ago, Scott, 58 years old, and his allied organizations have collected more than $134 million from donors, including at least a dozen billionaires whose combined net worth exceeds $325 billion. It also comes at a pivotal time for the South Carolina senator, who is the closest he's ever been to realizing a dream of 30 years in the making, becoming vice president. As the Veep stakes heats up, his best shot at winning Trump's approval may come from his ability to charm billionaires who've been hesitant to endorse the controversial former president. A spokesperson for Scott declined to comment. The more money Scott can raise, the bigger the financial war chest he can offer to deploy as Trump's running mate. Already, Scott's Political Action Committee has announced it's spending $14 million to boost Black and Hispanic support for Trump and Republicans in November, and his 501c4 nonprofit, Great Opportunity Policy, Inc., offers a flexible and powerful funding route. Unlike his PAC, it's not required to disclose the names of its funders, an appealing prospect for conservative donors who don't want to be publicly associated with Trump. And while Trump is considering several names for a VP pick, including J.D. Vance, Doug Burgum, Marco Rubio, he spent the most time talking up Scott at an event last week on Capitol Hill. He's called him a, quote, unbelievable surrogate. Okay. So as soon as I saw this article, now I got him tied, bro. I got Elise Stefanik and I got Tim Scott tied. Why? Because look, at the end of the day, with all of these charlatans, it always comes down to money. It always comes down to money. Trump has some issues raising money from some segments of the billionaire class and the corporate class. Why? Because he tried to overthrow the last fucking election. And that is colossally unstable. And the last thing these people want is instability. They want stability. That's how they make money. That's how they get rich, right? Now, a lot of these people have already, bygones be bygones, they've already accepted whatever happened, and they're supporting Trump. But some of them haven't, right? And Tim Scott is well known for being the billionaire charmer. He's well known for being a corporate cuck. Funny enough, even though he's a horrible politician, right? He's just not good at it. He's not that charismatic. He's one of those guys where in a one-on-one setting, behind closed doors, he can charm any of these people. He comes across as having, all of his, all the I's dotted and all the T's crossed, all of his ducks are in a row. He comes across as put together and intelligent, and he knows how to charm these billionaires. And so he's raising money like crazy, and that's one of the things Trump is going to want. He wants the unending loyalty. Well, Tim Scott is going to give him that, right? He wants to be able to point to an identity politics thing, say, look, we're not racist, here's a black. He wants to be able to do that. And also, if he's going to be a massive bonus when it comes to raising money, when it comes to getting capital on his side, why not? I mean, that's probably the biggest downside of Elise Stefanik, is she's not nearly as big of a name, and nobody can raise as well as Tim Scott, so she can't raise as well as he does. So, look, at the end of the day, this all comes down to money, and that makes it so now I have them tied. I have Elise Stefanik and Tim Scott tied. And I'll say this. Even the way they discuss this in Bloomberg, it sickens me, right? As if this is normal. In Iran, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, they pre-pick candidates that then the public can choose from, right? Here, vote for the president, but also you're limited to these ones, right? And it's like this layer of theocratic bureaucracy and exclusionism that makes it so that it's not really a democracy, obviously, right? We all look at that and see it for what it is. Well, we have the same process here in this country, but the process is done by corporations and billionaires. It's done by the moneyed interests. There is a money primary before there's an actual primary. And Tim Scott is the one who's currently winning that money primary. He's charming the people that you need to charm to get money and power on your side. So that then opens more doors for you. It makes it so you're more likely to win. It makes it so that you're even more likely to get your agenda through when you are president if you got the backing of so much capital. And so that's where we're at now, man. That's what this country's like. Total oligarchy, total kleptocracy, sell it out to the highest bidder. This is how you gain power, is you suck up to wealth and then you do wealth's bidding. And that's what Tim Scott is. That's his whole career. And Trump is probably looking on that favorably. Hey, I get the minority points. Hey, I get to raise the money, and I know he's not going to stab me in the back in Tim Scott's case because he's too much of a cuck, right? I don't even think he'd have the Mike Pence ability, where Mike Pence at the last minute, the one thing he wouldn't do is overturn the election for Trump, and for that, Trump hates him. I think Tim Scott would probably be an even bigger cuck and wouldn't even pull a Mike Pence if push came to shove. But this is why he is who he is, right? It's not because of his talents. It's because billionaires like him. And so that might get him the spot that he wants. All right, guys. That's the show, y'all. You know I love you. Everybody do me a big favor. Subscribe to the channel below. Click that bell icon so you get a notification when a video drops. Support the show on Patreon. That link's below as well. Or you could tip with the thanks button on YouTube. Remember, I don't talk to any advertisers ever. I've never done an ad read. I'm very proud of that fact. So you guys help fund this show from the ground up. And remember, we have Brianna Joy Gray on Crystal Kyle and Friends tomorrow. You're not going to want to miss that. We're going to be talking about her being fired from the Hill. And, the main issue there was Israel. There's a lot of stuff to get into. And that's all I got for you. Everybody have a great rest of your day. And as per usual, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.